Are we doing what we know? Because we know in order to grow, you have to push yourself. You have to get uncomfortable. You have to push yourself out of your comfort zone. We know this. You've heard me say this thousands of times. The question is, are we doing what we know? Are you actively every day pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, getting yourself uncomfortable? The thing where your brain, your heart says, I don't know if I want to do this. Oh, that's really hard. That's going to be right. That doesn't feel good. Are you doing that thing? Every time I say it doesn't feel good, I have a really funny story in my head because like I said, I've been on my personal development journey for a decade, right? Like reading books and listening to audios and doing all this stuff. And I always come across people by the nature of what I do in business, right? By the nature of being in this financial space and training people to kind of do what we do. I remember very early in my journey, I was sitting down with a gentleman, and he was much older than me, right? He was probably in his like late 50s, right? And I'm in my like early 30s at the time. And and I remember sitting down with him to get him started in our business. And one of the things you have to do, you actually heard Ed Milet in there say, you got to make some phone calls, right? Like we're a business where like you have to reach out to people, you have to talk to people. And I remember he was just getting started. I remember him getting him to make a phone call to one of his like coworkers. And it was the first time he made a phone call. So again, very uncomfortable. This is why most people don't succeed, right? It was uncomfortable for him because he wasn't used to this. But it was a very innocent call. We were just setting up time so that we could meet and show him what it is that we're doing. He calls his coworker. The phone call didn't go great and he didn't get the result he wanted. He hung up that phone. This man is in his late 50s. He was like, that didn't feel good at all. Man, no, that didn't feel good. And I could tell immediately how uncomfortable he was. He walked out of my office that day. I never saw him ever again. He never answered my phone call ever again. That level of discomfort that he felt in that 3 minutes completely got him out of there, completely took him off his journey. This guy was like towards the end of his journey, like towards the end of his career. And got so uncomfortable in that one phone call that he quit. He just stopped. I always remember that story because I used to think that like the older we got, the more like tough we got, and the more like things like that wouldn't bother us. But that's not true. That's not true. The older you get, it doesn't mean that you've ever put yourself in very uncomfortable situations and continued to push through those situations. Most of us quit on everything in life. We quit on everything at to some degree. So knowing that like this journey of success is you forcing yourself into uncomfortable situations. Like that's literally how you have to put yourself in there. I think it was Goggins in that video that said, right, if you're not programming yourself, the world will program you. And the world is going to program you for comfort, for ease. That's what the world is going to come like that's what it's going to program you with. It's going to be the easy path, the path of least resistance. How do I how do I do the least amount of work and make the most money? How do I get the easiest job and make the most money? How does my work life balance become the smoothest, easiest thing that I need? Like everything around our life is about comfort. So we have to force ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Literally, it's a forceful thing. It's not something you're going to feel like doing all the time. It's not something you're going to want to do all the time. But that's the habit. We're a product of our habits. And many of us have had habits of starting and stopping. Of when life gets hard, we stop. We don't go after our goals anymore because life got hard and mentally, emotionally, we need time to recover. We go through this process in life 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years of doing the same things. And now we're at a place where we're like, no, no, no. There are things that I want. I want to be able to go get there. Now we got to really get uncomfortable. Now we really got to push ourselves out of our comfort zone. Some things I wrote down there. You will live in the life. You will live in the life that you build. You will live in what you build. So what are you building for yourself and your family? Because that's what you will live in. If you build a home of gratitude, right, you will live in gratitude. what are you building? What home are you living in? Because where you live, you're going to live in what you build. I think Eric Thomas said that. You got to keep moving forward. If you're ever stuck in life, ladies and gentlemen, if life ever hits you, right, knocks you down a little bit, just get up and start moving. Just get up and start heading in the direction. Sure, you might have been sprinting, you might have been going really, really fast, you might have been right on your game, and then life knocks you back. And all you got to do is just like, okay, let me get up and let me just start walking. You probably can't go back to sprinting right away if life knocked you down. But you got to get back up and start walking and start moving in that direction. Start making that call. Start, moving forward in your health life, in that relationship, whatever it is. You just got to get back up and then keep going. We can't afford. This is for us. Remember, I give this context all the time because I know this isn't for everyone. I don't expect it to be. I don't expect everyone to want to grow. I don't expect, and you can't want that for people around you. By the way, that's just a little tidbit for all of you that jump on these calls, but then you have someone around you or a family member or a coworker, and like you're like, why don't you see it like I see it? Like, why can't you grow? It's because everyone's not meant to grow. Everyone's not like gonna do this stuff. Everyone doesn't have a vision. They could, everyone could. It's possible for everyone, but that's just not the way everyone operates. But for us, the people that want to go off and design their ideal life, you want to get to the life that you don't need a break from. These are the rules. These are the habits. These are the things we have to actually put in our life in order to get there. Otherwise, life is just going to hand you whatever it wants to hand you, and you're just going to accept it. That's not us. We don't accept our life. We build our life, right? We don't just accept the life that we have, right? We build the life that we want. It's a big difference. Most people just accept whatever comes their way and say, I'm just going to deal with it. It's God's will for me, right? No, we get to design the life that we want. We get to design it, but it's going to come with tests, challenges, all those types of things. That's what it's going to come with, but we can do it. You got to do the work. You hear me say it all the time. I just want it to sink in, right? This might only be a year of you hearing this. This might only be 6 months of you hearing this. I've been doing this for a decade, talking about the same stuff, thinking about the same stuff. And what happens is it becomes a habit. It becomes your nature. It becomes who you are. You know how people like to say, that's just who I am. No, who you are is from what you've been doing, how you've been thinking about things, the actions you have been taking, the habits you've been having. That's who you are now. But who you can be, you get to determine. You get to decide who you want to be. And then you have to do the work to become that person. I hope that makes sense. Here's what it says in the text, the 177 mental toughness secrets of the world class. It says the world class catapults their consciousness by overcoming obstacles. I want you to know that on this journey, I've been talking about this a lot at the beginning of the year. You know why? Because I know this process very well. The enemy comes to attack when we start to get a vision and move towards it. And normally that happens at the beginning of the year because you've been excited, you've been hyped up by at the end of the year that, oh, this year is going to be different. And now we do have a little bit of goals and vision and things like that written down. That's when the enemy comes to attack. So you got to know that the obstacles you face, the challenges you face, the adversities you face right now, it's like it's helping you. It's helping you. It didn't come to destroy any of this. It's helping you become the man or woman that you need to be to handle the life that you're asking for. It's all about your perspective. There's someone that can go through the same thing that you're going through right now and say, oh man, my life's horrible. It's over. Why me? The enemy hates me. I can't do this. God hates me, right? Like people will go all the way down that path and never see that the obstacles, the adversities, like it grows you. It's a blessing. It's a blessing that you have these things, right? Scripture's popping in my mind. Somewhere in scripture, right? It says like I'm grateful that I was afflicted, right? It was a good thing. It was a good thing that I was afflicted. It was a good thing I had to go through this. Why? Because that's what grows our character, and that's what we're here to do. Here's what it says in the text, right? It says, while the masses see obstacles as their primary adversary, champions view them as opportunities to expand their level of thinking and competence. Professional performers know the only way they can truly become mentally tough enough to manifest their vision is to struggle and fight their way through obstacles. There is no other way. The great ones are conscious of the fact that success is trial by fire. The middle class consciousness avoids obstacles at all costs and looks for the easy way out. The world class builds their own roads and forges ahead, knowing the strength of character gained from overcoming obstacle after obstacle will be the measure of their true success. And with that rock solid character, even greater things can be accomplished. If you remove the obstacle, you remove the opportunity to grow. One more time. If you remove the obstacle, you remove the opportunity to grow. That's why when people pray, like, oh, God, take this away from me, remove this. He's like, no, this is how you grow. Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Anyways, it says the world class becomes great by overcoming more obstacles than the middle class. They get tough because they're in the game, getting hit, taking shots. Professional performers are good at overcoming obstacles because they're always engaged in this process. Amateurs spend so little time staring down the dragon that they simply never get tough enough to become pros. The fear of failure looms deep in the psyche of the masses. The great ones are sometimes fearful, yet develop more courage with each new obstacle until they stand up one day as true mental warriors. It's the obstacles that build your character. You might know this, but in the times that are challenging, in the times of adversity, in the times where it's not clear what's happening, we often forget that this thing came to make you better. This thing came to make you stronger. It came to help prepare you for the life you've been praying for the life you've been asking for, whatever those things are. This thing in your life, this obstacle, this adversity, this challenge came to help you get to that place, if you see it that way. It's all about perspective. It's all about how you view things. It's about the story you tell yourself about what is happening. It's not, remember, life is 10% what happens to you, 90% how you react to it or how you think about it. We all go through the same things. Everyone goes through obstacles. In this life, you will have trials. In this life, you will have tribulation. Like that's the way it goes. How you view that will help you either get to the other side or will keep you down where you are. Our job, ladies and gentlemen, your job is to continue to grow the capacity you need to handle the life that you're asking for. So all of the challenges, all of the obstacles, all of the adversities, all the things that come your way, you got to know it's a part of the plan. It's a part of the game. You got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Literally sit in comfort when you're the most uncomfortable. That discomfort is where you grow. That discomfort in your relationship is where your relationship grows. That discomfort in your finances, when applied properly, like is when your finances grow. That internal discomfort, that little thing in your stomach that's like, I don't want to be here. When you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, that is what causes you to grow. It's when everything in our life is when we seek comfort all the time, when we're just constantly seeking comfort. And again, if you don't program yourself this way, the world will program. The world is going to have you seek comfort. They're going to have you seek things that are comforting. They're going to get you hooked and addicted on things that are comforting. This is the whole debate with social media. As I sit live on TikTok, right? The whole debate with social media is that it's ruining us because of the dopamine hits that we're getting addicted to. When someone starts scrolling, you don't realize it's addicting you to the dopamine that you're feeling. And because you want to feel comfortable, you want that feeling of excitement comforts you. Now we're a society of scrollers, right? Like that's what's happening. Everything around us is about comfort. The car you buy, when you go to the car, we just got a new car, right? So the car that you buy, they try to show you how comfortable the car is, right? Like just everything around us is about comfort. That's why most people don't get to the life that they want. Because at some point, they rather just be comfortable. Life got too hard. They're tired. All that being said, fine. And if we want to go get to the life we don't need a break from, we got to stay uncomfortable constantly, all the time, because that's how we grow into the man or woman God called us to be. That's how we grow the capacity to handle the life that we're asking for. That's how it says in here, you build that rock solid character. If you remove the obstacles, you remove the opportunity to grow. Don't wish it were easier. Don't wish your life were easier. Don't wish these challenges weren't in your life. Wish that you were better at handling them. Wish that you were more mentally tough, more emotionally intelligent, had more patience, had more faith, had more grace, have more love for people. Like, wish that were you, and then go work to become that person, because that's how you then handle that life. I want this to make sense because this is the journey, y'all. Like, this is the journey. The moment I stopped wishing away the hard things, the moment I stopped to wish, my prayers changed, right? It changed to, God, you need to make me better to handle this thing. How do I have to get better? I'm searching my heart. This is an internal game. It's not an external game. You start you start searching your heart. You start figuring out where you need your work. And then your character is being built through those obstacles. And before you know it, it becomes a habit of just getting over the things that are presented to you. The action step for today says make a list of the three biggest obstacles you currently face. Next, determine the worst thing that could possibly happen if you decided to mount an all-out assault to overcome them. If you can live with the worst case scenario, suspend your fear and attack your obstacles as if it were impossible to fail. If you succeed, your self-confidence will soar. If you fail, you'll live to fight another day. We'll all live to fight another day. But the key is you got to fight. You got to fight to get to the life that you want. Otherwise, you can accept the life that you have, but I know that's not us. We're going to go off and design the life that we don't need a break from. We're going to design our ideal life. In order to do that, you just got to remember these obstacles come to make you better. All right? I love you guys. I want you to win. You deserve it. Your families deserve it. If no one tells you, I'll keep telling you, like, you deserve to win. You can win. It's possible to win. Man, I'm stepping into some basketball coaching with some kids. I had a kid come up to me yesterday right after his practice I was evaluating, and he said, "Coach, like, do you think I can play at the next level? Like, do you think I could?" And he's young, and I'm like, "Of course you can." Like, not even knowing your skill set, like, of course you can. Like, I have to instill that belief that it's possible. Whatever you're thinking about, it's possible. Absolutely. That was my initial response without knowing any. Like, of course, I watched him for a little bit, but it's like, of course you could. Of course. And that's the same thing you have to have in your mindset. Of course. Can you live that life that you want? Of course you can. Can you be a multi? Of course you can. Can you have the house you want? Of course you can. Can you have the relationships you want? Of course you can. It's possible. You got to go do the work now on you, not on them, on you. That's how we get there. Go out, do something that pushes you out of your comfort zone today on this Monday. I'll see you guys back here on Wednesday. Love you guys. Take care.